Oh, hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grimdark distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, it's Nightmare Priest Nigh and Binary Hell Road Magnificent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. So today we are going to be fucking around with these houses. It's real grim dark in here. Oh yeah, it's we're getting real into the weird now. This is the special hobby hangout morning where we glue hair to just fucking everything. We're gonna glue hair to this. You're like, man, that's a lot of hair you're gonna have to glue in. It's like, yep, but it's gonna look really good. It's gonna be worth it. I promise. Here's where we're at on this guy. I know it looks like I've just been gluing hair to a house, but once it's painted and we've got everything weathered properly, that's going to look like an extremely realistic thatched roof house. So to give you a look at the ones I've done already, I'm over halfway done, which is why we're doing this now, because it's just like I need to be painting today on this stuff. But here's one of them. This is going to look very, very, very real whenever we get weathering and paint on here, instead of just looking like a house with a little silly wig. Same thing here. All of these really small threads are going to look like pretty much perfectly scaled for 28 millimeter hay or wheat or whatever kind of silly little grass that you would put on the roof. That one went a lot quicker than the other two. Not only because it's smaller, but because I figured out a process by which to do this that is a little more logical than how I had been doing it, which is why my desk is covered in small little hair clippings. And I'm definitely going to have to make more of these. So when that time comes, I'll show you how to do that. Until then, I'm just going to be gluing hair to stuff. And in a twist of fate, I ran out of super glue this morning, like moments after my new things of super glue just came in. So got a whole bunch of super glue. Yay! So we're going to be gluing hair to this bad boy. We don't have to stop what we're doing. But yeah, I got to get these things painted today, so that's why we're picking up here. The Templars, they are Templars, but the Knights of Rothenburg that are back here, while they do need to be done, they are not for the scenario that is tomorrow or Friday, depending on which one we want to stream by. I'll ask, I'll run a poll or do whatever. And this time I won't make it to where it's difficult for you to vote on when you want to stream. Coffee is pretty good. It's pretty good. Not too hot, not too cold, baby. All right, let's get to it. I gotta tell you, I've been gluing hair to little houses for 2 days now. I thought that was very funny. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's... Whoo boy, things are getting hairy here. But hairy. Fuck, I'm funny. Okay. So, pretty much, I'll show how we make these, but depending on the length and the shape of these is dictating where I'm putting them. For the most part, though, I've cut them all roughly around the same length, and they should all be roughly the same. Sometimes I will have one that comes out a little bit crazier, a little bit longer because it was an end and they were not truly like even whenever I was processing them all. And that's how we end up with some variation, which is good. We want there to have some variation between them. So in this situation, perfect. As long as it's within the standard, hey, that looks real. That looks like it would make any kind of sense. It's good to have them not all be exactly perfect, because that's what we don't want. Because when you make little piles of hay and straw, or what have you. Straw, that's probably the right one. Uh, they are not going to be perfect. There's going to be very small variations. So that is really kind of what we're trying to. Happy accidents is always a good thing when you're trying to replicate realistic things, um, as opposed to it being. And whenever, happy accidents when replicating real things in nature are always great. Happy accidents when, replicating something that is very artificial and not organic in any way is not good, because we want that to be very precise. Machining is often extremely precise. Now, when it comes to, something that's been around for forever, or, it's supposed to be rebuilt a couple times lore wise, then of course, yeah, we want them to be, we want variety in there. So, whoo boy. I might have to get some more zip kicker today. Or I'm going to have to start using the super glue accelerator from the other company that I've picked up before that I really don't like. And I don't have anything against the company. Let me specify that, because a lot of times I say that and I mean, yeah, fuck that company, they're Nazis. I don't think these guys are Nazis. I just think that they don't make as good of a super glue accelerator. And that is I want to say Bob Smith something. They make fancier kind of packaged hobby products. And again, man, maybe if I'm just not doing it right, I'd love for anyone to correct me, but I don't think I'm doing anything different. I just don't think that they make as good of super glue accelerator. It does not have any consistency on time to activate. Michigan Toy Soldier Co. I don't know why the fuck I thought it was Bob and Smith. But yeah, this. So, yeah, it's supposed to be instant set. I've never seen it instant set. I've seen it take a very wild amount of time to decide when it wants to set. And I just can't have that. So, anywho, I cut a whole bunch of hair out this morning after making a whole bunch of little hair piles. We're doing the hair stuff today. Yesterday, I pretty much had hair, I still do, glued all to my hands. I wonder if it's formulated to work specifically with the glue. So that was one of the things that I thought. In which case, if it is, fuck them. Like, that would be some bullshit. Because their glue is not even remotely cheap. Like, it's exponentially more expensive than other glues that I prefer. Whereas Zip Kicker works with every single super glue I've ever seen. Like, I have not used Zap super glue in 20 years. And it works with Crazy Glue. It works with Wosado, which is absolutely my go-to for if I'm going to be using so much super glue that I'm legitimately concerned about getting a chemical burn. Like, I'm not using a Crazy Glue, which is what I use typically for, if you have a commission from me, I've used Crazy Glue on it. I don't, there's just too much variety and inconsistency in how quickly like cheap super glue comes out and just like bursts all over the stuff. And I do have a super glue applicator that I need to start using, which would really kind of fix that. But at the same time, that involves kind of getting down into a new practice, a new kind of normal. And I have not really had the time to really think about that. If I'm trying to start new stuff, I want it to be stuff that's going to move this overall project forward as far as the Grimdark Distillery. And by that, I mean like lights, Stream Deck, that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that when I start working on something that I'm not really, it's not in my current wheelhouse, it's going to be stuff that I'm doing solely to make showing what I'm doing easier, better. But that, as far as a tool, we will get to it, but it's going to be a bit because we just have other stuff, and I don't need it too much right now because I have so much Crazy Glue. At one point in time, before I started buying really cheap super glue, I did use crazy glue for damn near everything, and that became a expense that was just non-sustainable. Uh, but it is my favorite super glue. Crazy glue specifically. I'll grab one. I buy them in the little tubes um, because where I live, it is damn near impossible to open a thing of super glue, no matter how big or small it is, and it be usable within a week. Which really sucks when you have a big bottle of super glue and it's just like, yeah, it's just fucked. After a week, even if you store it in rice in a sealed mason jar. Kentucky, baby. But yeah, they come with these little, they come inside of this. This one's currently filled with all the little tops because I essentially, once I get these in, I empty all of them out and I keep a couple of these just that way I have something to transport in, but then the rest of these go into my bits bin. Same thing with the cheap super glue. Typically, the only thing that I throw away is the little tube. Everything else gets saved, all the caps, all the tops, because those are bits. They will be used for something. Hoo hoo hoo. Hair. But I bet you're right. I bet it is probably made specifically to use with their super glue, which I realize maybe I shouldn't be as hot and be like, fuck them. But I just really don't like when anyone makes a product that only works with their thing when the same product is made by a couple other companies that works with everyone's stuff. That just seems like a kind of a gotcha gimmick. Yeah, so yesterday I had a very fun time. I had to go give a sample to the lab post vasectomy. So I got to walk around with a cup of a sample in my pocket. And I cannot stress enough, there are a few things that I've ever done in my life that are as anxiety inducing. However, I also find it very funny that it's just like, yeah, hands utterly covered in hair. My hands are covered in super glue and hair. So it's just like, I just looked like a real psychopath for everyone who had to interact with me at that point in time. That's how my day yesterday was, other than getting covered in just hair for working on these ad nauseum. Maybe someday it'll be done. Today. It will be done today. And then I'm probably going to take a break from gluing hair to shit. Because it sucks. Every time. Much like Clay asking about my painting. If you're like, man, you take so much time and you do this thing a lot. She's like, you must really like that. Nope. But if I figured out, hey, that's how I'm going to make it look the way it needs to look, that's the option. Whether I like it or not, just got to keep pushing on the topic of super glue and Loctite. So yeah, I loved Loctite. I grew up using Loctite so much. But as soon as I found other options, I quickly kind of moved away from that because of the humidity here is just so inconsistent that I have like a nice bottle that will very quickly become less usable than these little tubes because I have to constantly cut the tip to get the super glue to come out. And it's very frustrating how much like time I did spend trying to really make a container to keep my super glue from ruining itself. At one point in time, whenever I was really doing a lot of aquarium stuff, God, hair. There's hair everywhere. And I don't have the bottle anymore because he ruined it. But I bought a Louvre locking little set that was made specifically for super glue. Like if you worked at a factory where they make super glue or where they dispense super glue, I bought pretty much all the things that they use, like, you know, Teflon little tip and everything, so it won't, supposedly will not block. It does. So it's just frustrating trying to keep up with storing and whatnot. And I've had that problem with bottles, but I keep a sewing needle to clear the dry glue. Yeah, that's so I have all kinds of little pokies on my desk for doing that on these little bottles. It's just I also go through a copious amount of super glue. I don't use plastic glue really at all. The only time I ever fuck with plastic glue is, I mean, it's really rare. I've pretty much almost exclusively just switched to super glue. The only time that I have not used super glue is going to be stuff like Adeptus Titanicus. Jesus. Oh, the hair. It's everywhere. Screaming infidelities. Yeah, the only time I really don't is going to be scale models. Scale models that you have to use glue. That would be where I would use super glue. And that is just because there is a benefit to letting it set and actually chemically bond it. But most of the stuff that I do personally is very kind of thrown on there in a very, layered constructing kind of manner. So having an excess of super glue to catch other grit and whatnot is never a bad thing. But yeah, it would be very noticeable on a model that I'm trying to keep very clean looking. So that's when I would use plastic cement. In which case, Tamiya the green. That's my favorite plastic cement. It's the only one I'll buy now. Let's see, what's that? Is it just standard? I haven't used it in a hot minute, but Tamiya extra thin. So that, if I'm using plastic cement, this is the one that I use, and that is an absolute recommendation from Adam and Eric. The wire, same thing with Crazy Glue. Pretty much, they sold me on Crazy Glue, and after a couple of bottles, I was like, yep, okay, I'm done fucking with anything else. But I just got about 100 of these in today, so I'm gonna be good on super glue for a hot minute. I think the last time I ordered some, I ordered about the same amount, and that was about a year ago. So 100 bottles, about a year. Not too bad. Extra thin, I hear, is the goat. It's. I've used many different plastic cements over the years. One of the most effective, and I mean that isn't like it will fucking. It's glued. It's not gonna come unglued. Is the old testers that was in the tube, but cannot stress enough, I think that's because it is quite possibly the most damaging to your health, because it is just hyper chemical. It melts plastic almost the moment that it comes in contact with it. So that's why I don't really use that anymore. For a while I was using the Testers Masters class or master grade. It comes in like a little square bottle. I don't think I have that anymore. Let me grab it, see if I do. But again, that one also is very prone to clogging in the tip. No, I don't think I have that anymore. I've done away with it. Outside of that, yeah, pretty much my glues look like epoxies, extra thin cement, epoxies, hot glue, super glue. Oohoo for, oohoo. Little oohoo glue. I just assume anything testers will just outright end you if you take a deep whiff of it. Ah, man, I gotta agree with that. That's the paint. Like the very first models I ever made were painted with testers enamels, and that I can absolutely remember my mom throwing a fit about the smell, and it's just like, yeah, now I know that was insanely not healthy. Like, those are not the kind of paints that you use in the house unless you have a paint booth. or a area to like get rid of that shit, that's the kind of stuff that that might kill you. Because it smells, it's just straight chemicals. Just straight up chemicals, man. Okay, so we are now at the top. The top's gonna get a little weird. This is where things get weird. Are y'all ready? I hope so. So now we're gonna talk about how do you process your wigs. You got a grandma, lots of wigs, and she's like, hey, do you want some of these old wigs? Or you got a bunch of spoopy costumes that you've been holding on to for forever. Well, I'll show you how to turn those into little hair houses. So pretty much we got this little bit of hair. Now where I got this, let's see. Let me grab the old wig. It's in the floor. So much like a Barbie head, this is the same kind of concept with a wig. Same thing as how I get the Barbie hair out. Pretty much, we're going to turn it inside out so we can see where it actually is all attached. Now this looks, I have not fucked with any of this yet, because that is definitely a different layout. But up here, there are little strands. They're individual strands. They are attached on a thread where it's fed on there. I pretty much just went in and I cut these out. So now I have these strips. They're a lot easier to work with when you can just see them like these little strips. And then from there, we pretty much are taking our scissors and we're cutting right around where that is threaded. And you could, if anyone is wondering, yes, you could absolutely just glue the whole thing on there. And I did do that on one of the first buildings. It does not work as well as you would want it to, though. So from here, once I've got a good little chunk of hair, and I really want to make sure that they are roughly even. If they're not completely even, it's still fine. But from there, I'll take it. And once I've got a nice little, I'll zoom in here just so you guys can see a little bit better. Once I've got a nice little, silly little ponytail almost kind of situation here, I will just put some glue on the top and then a little bit of glue on the back. And that is because it is difficult to glue a bunch of strands of hair together and not have them all bunch up. And we don't want them to bunch up. We want them to essentially be a nice little sliver of hair. So from there, I will just move down an extra little space, about the length of whatever, and this is the perpetual battle, is putting the super glue down or small loose threads of hair getting caught on the super glue tip. So then you're just doing that all day, and that's how you get super glue all over your hands. I like my girls, how I like my glue extra thin and really smelly. Good morning, JJ. Also, good morning, Possum. I don't know if I said good morning, but thank you guys both for being here. I like my women like I like my glue. Extra thin and really smelly. Fuck. That's really good. I like that a lot. That's a good one. So pretty much just gluing little sections together. And while that is drying, we're just trying not to touch it and keep it a little bit spaced out. And we want to stay with roughly the same length. Now at the end here, I'm going to have to put 2 of these because I want to get this side and I want to get that side when I cut them. Come on, hair. less space right here. We do not want that to touch the other part because then that whole thing is going to be super glued together. So now that we've got this, pretty much we're going to go back in here. As long as it is for the most part dried, it's typically dried enough. Doesn't look like it is though, so let's just hit it with some zip kicker. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then we come back in here. Now, initially, yes, I did. You could cut it directly on where the super glue goes. That way you would not have to think about doing both sides. I have done that multiple times at this point, and I have come to the conclusion that is not the best way to go about doing it, because when you do that, you are absolutely going to separate some of the hair that you have glued together. And because, again, it's just a lot of stuff to try to be piecing together with super glue, individual little threads of hair, you will see some of your work falling apart if you try to cut right where the super glue is. Makes sense that testers should be ultra toxic, considering that's what most kids start out with. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, at some point I would like to get my very first models. I don't even know. Nope, I think Ed painted over them. But my Tyranids, my very first. Also, welcome, USA Libertarian. Good to have you. Good to have you. The very first ones that I painted them, I shit you not, with a toothpick. Bad idea. Never use a toothpick to paint. It's just bad. That doesn't make any sense. And quickly, if you think about it, you're like, wow, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know where my friend Alan, who was like, yeah, you got to paint with a toothpick because they're so small. And I was just like, that doesn't make any sense, but all right, I'll do it. Yeah, painting with a toothpick with gloss black testers on my Tyranids. Hot damn. Talk about one thick coat. Man, they were very, very chunky. They're just chunky models. Too much paint on there. So we want to get these corners right here, and then a little bit up on the top. Actually, fuck it. Honestly, we're just gonna use the same method. So I'm gonna grab more hair. So we're gonna need a little bit more. That is not enough to cover that area. So we're gonna snip there. We're gonna snip here. I used to use dog whiskers. Hell yeah. Actually, I've painted with tooth before, and I did it again. Really? Man, I have, again, so I haven't done it since I have not done it in 27 years. Like, I've not done it since the very first time I started. I don't think that I would do it again, just from how much it did not seem like I had any control over what I was doing at all. But I also was a kid. But the moment I started using a brush, I definitely was like, this makes more sense. But if you're liking painting the tips of missiles and missile racks on Battletech, is way better with a toothpick. Huh. Well, now I know. There is a method to the madness. So what makes it better than just a small brush? Is there any benefit to it being like not able to be moved, or not having any give to it? I would think that a very fine-tipped brush would actually be able to paint it easier while also holding the paint better. Unless you're just using it as like a little dot, 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 dot. The dreaded hook. Arg. What is the dreaded hook? And now I sometimes, now I sound, it's very funny how nonsense comes back around sometimes. Really? Huh. That is. Okay, well, guys, okay. What is the dreaded hook? Is that like getting something stuck? I'm trying to think of. Puzzling. Also, the tips of the missiles are ever so slightly rounded, and just dotting them is better to me at least. Okay, so yeah, so it's just using it as a dotter. That I can understand. Because that absolutely, when the tip of your brush becomes a hook. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. I would think that you would have to do it with very, very, very light touch in order to not, especially something so small. I don't have any Battletech stuff out right now, but the missiles are very small. So I could see that would be useful without having to worry about any. Also, you don't want, and in defense of that, the benefits of a brush are, you have the well, so you would have more paint that you could reserve on there and not have to worry about it drying while you're applying it. But that's not what you're wanting if you're just wanting to do a little tap. And I completely get that. Fair enough. All right, you guys. I concede there are times in which a toothpick is the right tool for the job outside of what it's made for. Oh boy, all that hair just stuck to my arms and hands. So much hair. Hot damn. Come on now. Give it a little spritz. Now this might be enough hair, but we'll see. I'm feeling like it's probably not. We'll have to see. Wow. Get off of there. This is it all day, every day. This is what I've been dealing with for 2 days, baby. I hate it. Stop being stuck to my skin. All my skin's coming off. It's getting in the hair. Snip. Clean that up a little bit, but we still want it to look a little bit rough, but not that rough. That looks insane. Crazy. Crazy. There we go. That's better. Same thing with that one. We're going to have to deal with that. That looks crazy. Alrighty. One. Ooh, I got my finger there. But I didn't go down hard enough to where it cut me. Small blessings unto me. Yeah, actually this might be enough hair for the finishing of this one. And we got to put a little bit more glue on that. Oh boy. Since we've got this one in our hands, yes, the no flex and no hook tip. Also, it holds a very tiny amount of paint. Yeah, no, okay. I can see when that would be good. I retract my statement. I am just not doing anything. I have not done anything in a hot minute where I've needed something very specific like that. But I also have not painted anything in that scale. Well, no, that's not true. Theodore, the little Theo that I made, little sock Theodore, it's definitely around that scale. And painting eyes. I typically still use a brush. I don't know. But I get it. Different strokes for different folks, man. I retract my statement. There are times in which a toothpick should be used for paint. Oh boy. Is this going to be enough hair? That's the real question I ask myself. all the time. Is that enough hair? Did I put enough hair on those models? Have you thought about sitting down with your models and covering them in hair? Do a paint a whole model with a toothpick challenge video. Oh man. Ugh, my body just like tightened up thinking about that. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if that would be something enjoyable to watch, unless you all just are masochists, and or not masochists, but sadists, and just love watching me be upset. It would be very upsetting, I feel like. I'll just be like, this is just not how I make things. Okay, where are we going with here? That's too long. That's too long. That's all right. Yeah, that looks good. Touch. Okay, well, hold on now. Maybe over there. Yeah, that looks good. Right there, maybe. Yep, that's it. Wham. Little bit of hair, little bit of hair. Ugh. I've been ordering wool warm clothing so I can gear up to do some cold weather camping. Hell yeah. That sounds fun. I have not done much cold weather camping. Most of the camping I have done has always been fall, I guess. Fall and spring. Summer, too damn hot to even go outside. So I don't. That sounds rad. I love good camping. We're gonna cut that hair. Snip, snip, snip. Probably about right there. That looks good. Get out of there, yeah. Foil. Yeah, now these big chunks of super glue that we're having on top, I'm going to definitely weather that. Because that also, I mean, it's going to be where, on the top of the roof is going to be where the majority of that kind of stuff sets. Dirt, grime, birds sit up there, all kinds of nasty stuff. Coldest I've been out was 10 degrees. That is too damn cold, JJ. What are you doing, man? That's too cold. I don't even want to go out of my house when it's like 30. Oh boy. 10 degrees. I can't imagine trying to go to sleep in 10-degree weather. It's already 8:43. This, I can't stress enough. I'm so mentally tired of gluing hair to things. I've been doing this for this is day 3 now. And I know it's going to be worth it, but hot damn, it is. It's the equivalent of, hey, what's, after shingling that roof, what's the most like mentally taxing thing that I've done hobby-wise? It's the hair. And it's not like the muscles, like for grief. That's very fun. It's gluing hair to buildings to make thatched roofs. Hot damn. It's not the most fun. I do think it's going to be worth it, but it's not the most fun. That's for sure. I'm thinking maybe there. Do we want to just start gluing it? See, that's the thing, is once, if I don't do the little tufts, I can glue it directly on there. But actually, fuck it. We're going to do that. We have a lot of hair. It's just it often is not any more convenient. But at this point, I kind of am thinking I'm good with that. Yeah. We'll start right here. This is how I initially was doing it on the others, was actually taking a big tuft of hair like that, pushing it down, and letting it glue itself. I've used quad stuff in crafting, but never a wig, lol. Man, the wigs, I do so much stuff with wigs and hair these days. And it's just because they have very small fibers. They really do capture scale very well in a way that other things can't. Because yeah, straw is going to be very, very, very thin at 28 millimeter. But it's extremely difficult to work with individual threads. Like you can do, you know, shit, what is the grass? Static grass. You can use static grass stuff. Thank you. I'm pleased. Also, I had a wig around that I was like, I need to use that for something. But I gotta say, I think moving forward, when I need to do grass, long grass, straw, wheat, anything like that, probably gonna use a wig because it really does capture the scale in a way that I don't think I have any other means to do that will be as easy. And it's not easy, it's just more just, it'll do the thing. Okay, and then we're going to push that down. I made my own static grass applicator over bug zapper and flower sifter. Hell yeah. So I've started to make one, but that was back in, I think, March, might have been February. I started to work on a static grass applicator that essentially is very similar to the ones that I want to say Scenics, whatever Scenics. What is that brand name? Woodland Scenics. Didn't have to get all the way up. But, and I can show you. So, where are you? But it has I want to say a negative 24 volt negative ion generator. To power it. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. I thought it was in there. Come on. Root. I have got to organize this. So as soon as we are done with the stuff for the Fall of Rothenburg, that's what we're going to be doing. Is I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean out my work closet. Yeah, I have no idea. Wait a minute. It might be back there. Fuck it. Okay, I'm sorry guys. I can't find it right now. But yeah, so eventually I will finish that, and I'll probably do it on stream, that way you guys can see how to make it. But it's pretty much someone looking at like some of the really nice static grass applicators that use negative ion generators, and how to get them to work. And I'm just kind of DIY'd one up. Works very well. Well, I was very surprised, USA. Very surprised. I tried that, but I can get to work myself. Oh yeah. I wonder where to look for all the Halloween wigs people throw out after the 31st. Maybe just ask if they have any. Oh man, I don't know. I think all the wigs that I have outside of like my wife, I guess it just depends. If you know the person that had the wig. And they're like, yeah, I don't need this wig anymore. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Which that, I definitely need to hit up a lot of people that I know who do buy wigs every year and then just throw them away because I wouldn't want to get one out of the trash just because then I think it would be very, very likely that you might get something gross that lives in that wig. I'm not saying that everybody has head lice. I'm just saying the moment that it goes in the trash, hair is very. A lot of stuff likes to fuck around in hair and just kind of hang out and be like, I live here now. And I have no desire to bring any bugs into my house. Too many bugs. I got enough bugs. Got 30 gallons worth of bugs. 30 gallons worth of bugs is my new noise band. I have a 30-gallon tank of isopods. That's the joke. My old coworkers thought it made me seem like a serial killer, and I don't fully understand that. I think we have Buffalo Bill to thank for that. It's just like you can't even have a hobby involving insects without being a crazy person now. They're just good though. They just run around, do their own little thing. Little isopod stuff. They're spotted like cows. What more do you people want out of a pet? My first chance. Let me see. It was my first time starting off. I say stuff. I'd listen. Oh yeah, yeah. I love doing that kind of stuff. At some point, I need to. It's definitely low on the list, but I've got a bridge, a tremolo that I need to add to one of my guitars. And I think I'll stream that in case anyone is interested. But I love doing that kind of stuff. I started messing around with electronics with guitars and pedals, specifically guitars though, wiring the pickups, which is how I mean that's kind of how I got into RF engineering, is understanding a lot of people when it's like, oh yeah, they mess with electricity, they don't mess with DC, they mess with AC. But that is what all pretty much electricity that you're going to be fucking with in a guitar or music-based applications is going to be using direct current. So I had a lot of knowledge about that already. And I also kind of knew a little bit about RF, despite not realizing that that's what it is. But that's how a pickup works. A pickup is absolutely like the main concept behind cellular communication. It's using something to pick up sound through vibrations, magnets, which if that sounds to you like crazy black space magic, you're right, it is. An insane person came up with these concepts, like someone whose brain did not work anything like anyone else's, that they thought, hey, what if I took a bunch of metal and wrapped it around here and then sent electricity through it and then spoke into one end of it? Do you think that could like steal that like a ghost? And it's just like, turns out, yeah, it would. All right, hot damn. I think that is one housey done. We're gonna glue one little bit of hair right in here though. I think I already have one. Yay, here it is. Pop at the top, stick it under there. Yeah. I realize that I kind of rant about lots of different things on here. So sorry if it's difficult to keep up with. I'm a yapper. Tee-hee. Look at that beautiful hair. Have you ever seen a prettier house? A house that's just ready to go to the dance. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, little house. You've come a long way. Listen, I wonder where our regular crowd of misfits is off to today. Yeah, I don't know. It is a little quiet. I don't know where the Mowgli is, the Roz, the Shankster. Thank you, USA. Yeah. That house has more in here than me. It's got a good amount of hair on it now. I think Sigourney Weaver would be proud that that's what I used a wig to try and replicate her likeness is now the hair on a house. Straw. Sorry, not hair. It's not hair. Oh no, I just assumed that this was a crazy hair person's house and they keep people's hair, they glue it to their house. 1490, baby. They were doing that kind of stuff, keeping hair, it was weird stuff, real weird. Yeah, it does seem a little quieter today. Hope everybody's okay. Alrighty. I mean, we're gonna eventually go back. By eventually, I mean after I do that. I gotta get through it. I gotta keep pushing. If I don't, I'm never gonna finish these hair houses. I'm just gonna be crazy. Crazy forever with nothing to show for it. But I got a couple hair houses now. We'll definitely go back in again after that one. Snip up a couple more little crazy spots. My friend Miranda is a hairdresser. Maybe I should ask her, how do I cut this hair to make it look like a bunch of straw? I think I got a situation or process down though. Yeah, any of these little spots that are kind of through, that's fine. Because the plastic was thatched looking, but it didn't look thatched enough. I needed a really thatched roof. I know Neil Evans. Do you know Shankly RL? Yeah. Oh, Possum. Or wait, you're asking Possum. Shankly was in my stress stream the other night. Okay. I missed a couple things in chat. Also, I saw someone mention Merkins. Fuck yeah. Where are we at? I wonder where we're at. It looks cool. That house is more freaking here than me. Mercantown. Fuck yeah. Mercantown. I know I've talked about it on here before, but that is where a lot of terms come from that I think a lot of people don't understand why we refer to certain things. But that's, yeah, Merkins were originally made, they were pubic wigs. And at the time, they've been around for a very long time. Merkins have. And that is where the term beaver, muff, like all of that being related to, the anatomical areas, all comes from Merkins. And it comes from, in the days, like, Dark Ages kind of level, not even Dark Ages. Before bathing was a common thing, it was considered lower class to have to shave because that meant that you had lice, or other kinds of little critters living in your hair down there. So they would make wigs. These wigs were almost always made out of beaver pelt, which is the same thing that a muff, which is what you put your hands in if you're a fancy lady who needs a hand warmer. That's called a muff, also made out of beaver pelt. So that is where all of those terms come from. And I learned that by building guitar pedals. The one that has Theo's face on it with like devil horns or ram horns is a big muff. It's a Russian big muff that I rehoused and I rebuilt. Essentially, I gutted the thing and I replaced all of they are the shittiest wires I've ever seen in my life. There's the wires that I cut out of there, it was Russian, so it was handmade, in Russia, by the company, most likely Softec. But the wires were the cheapest wires I have ever seen in my life. There was barely anything to them. So I replaced those, I replaced all the pots. So it sounds fucking sick as hell now. But being the curious guy I am, I was like, why is this called a big muff? Why is this called that? And it's just like, well, you look into it, you read one thing or the other, now you know. So UTDF is Under the Dice Fest, which is a big event, essentially, kind of like a Comic-Con for this kind of stuff and games of all kinds. I did not go this year. I will be there for certain next year. Like Adepticon, if Adepticon was entirely just like the Grimdark Hallway, where it's just people who like to do this kind of stuff, as opposed to the standard, more of like just tabletop gaming. But there is also that there too. It's the punk 28-minute, miniature convention. I would say is a pretty good summary of it. I'm pretty happy with this. This looks pretty good. Hi, little hare house, Mercantown. Beautiful. Beautiful, my dear. Okay. 4 down, 1 to go. And I saved the biggest one for last. Ha ha ha, classic Eli. 1, 2, 3, 4 little Merkin houses. I've got to pee, guys. I think I finished my coffee, though. Yeah, I did. So I'll put that over here. Oh my gosh. I'm tired of fucking with wigs. Vin, will you fuck with wigs? Not again after this for a hot minute. It's also why I kind of wanted, I was like, I need to make, you might try cutting the hairs vertically, not horizontally, to give different minute variations in hair length. Yes, so now that they're like kind of glued on there, I'm going to go back and I'm going to cut kind of like how I've seen like hairdressers cut like bangs and stuff. So you get like different variations. Or when they're like doing a gradient, I'm going to go back and do that. I gotta push through gluing hair on all of this because it's driving me insane. I'm so tired of gluing hair to these houses. Been doing it this is day 3. Not doing it another. Vin, will you wear wigs? Yes. Okay, thank you. I love that. I love that clip so much. Do you wear wigs? Sometimes. Vin, will you wear wigs? Okay, guys, I will be right back. I gotta be right back, guys.
she comes, she's made of bronze and stone. And I'm just fur and teeth and blood and bitter angry groans.
And we're back. Thanks for waiting for me. They also have those scissors with interrupted blades for blending people's haircuts. My family makes fun of me because whenever I want to buy something, they know it isn't for what it was designed. I 100% understand that. The amount of things that like I have asked that are like tools and stuff over the years for people, like when they're like, hey, what do you want, for a gift or something like that? I'm like, oh man, I could really use this. And they're just like, I didn't know you did that. I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to use it for what you think, but I do need it for blank. Yeah, no, I absolutely love repurposing stuff. It's great. It's great. Man, I'm so fucking tired of gluing hair to houses. Oh my God, but this is the last one. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be worth it. We've got 4 little buildings already, and this is going to be the 5th one. One of the buildings is technically not a building. It is a like canopy that the little oven goes, this little oven goes underneath of, like the communal oven. But, so one other thing I did yesterday, I did a little bit of detailing the inside when I needed a break from hair. So a couple things about that. One, it absolutely adds structural stability because this is resin. I had to print this in resin. In hindsight, I don't think I'll be printing any more just square buildings. I'll probably just make them because the stress of trying to get these buildings to print right, I could have used that time to just scratch build every one of them a lot quicker, I think. And then they would have been hyper detailed at the gate. But I was trying to do things quickly. So that's how we got here. But yeah, I gotta get the hair on there first because that part's fun and I can knock that out. This part is not fun at all and I hate it. And I'm tired of gluing hair to things. I'm tired of being covered in super glue and hair. My life's hard and I chose this. Okay, come on. Me just complaining and being a big baby about problems that aren't problems. They're choices. These are just frustrating life choices, Charlie. These aren't real problems. Well, yeah, I gotta have glue because I have like 50 cats outside my house. I gotta take these shoes off. I gotta get comfortable. We gotta strap in for this one. Whew. I'll lower it so you don't have to look at my knees. I know Possum gets offended by showing my knees. I'm a hussy. I have knees. Fact. Alrighty, hair. It's just you and me, baby. Let's do it. Let's go the distance. That's me to pet store. Oh yeah, coconut fiber. Yeah, coconut fiber. Let's see. Hermit crab sand, moss. There's all kinds of great things you can get at a pet store. Spiderwood. Spiderwood I use a lot in my terrariums, but it absolutely has a use in our hobby. That's what I made the horns on my little altar piece that I'm still working on that uses that skull that's supposed to be King Piss's. Which again, I'll get to finishing that eventually. It's just we needed to focus on something. It's so easy for me to just keep building because I'm like, oh yeah, big plan, large overarching project. I want to start working on all the parts of it, but discipline is such a valuable trait, and being able to stick to something until it's done is something that I struggle with, but something I'm always very proud and very happy whenever I can finally achieve that. So also, thank you guys very much. I just need a shitty coffee grinder. Man. Yeah, you want it to be shitty, but you don't want it to be too shitty because then it will just stop working. Like the meat grinder that I had. The maiden voyage of my bits grinding meat grinder pretty much short circuited it. Like, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to grind all these bits up. And then just, yep, it's fucked. Okay, well, there you go. Hell yeah, from Wally World. So yeah, that, I'm sure out the gate, even a cheap meat grinder or coffee grinder would be better than the one that I was using because it was a very old meat grinder, like from the 50s. So it just pretty much became scrap. Scrap to be used for terrain as soon as I fired it up. And I did not get to grind up any of the plastic that I was intending to grind with it. Hair, please, for the love of God, just do the damn thing. You're killing me. We're gonna do this for a bit. Just making a bunch of little hair snippets. Ho, ho, ho. All right, out here. It will be worth it. I have to just keep telling myself that. Not the bits. Yeah. Yeah, all the, honestly, a lot of it's just resin. Like old trash, like trash bits, sprues, that kind of stuff. That is what I was using the grinder on. That was what I was hoping to use the grinder on. Stuff like these supports, grinding that out. While the struts are very cool, I only need so many, and I print so much stuff that at some point it's just like, okay, how many of those do you really need? Also, before I really dove into understanding what I was doing with my FDM printers, I printed everything with supports. So I have a 40-pound bag of chow, or two, that is just completely filled with support trees, which are very cool organic shapes. We will definitely use those for all manner of spoopy things sometime in the future, but stuff like that, I tried to make sure that I don't waste anything that I could use if I actually think I could use it. So much hair. I'm so tired of hair. Oh my gosh. Speaking of coffee grounds make excellent ground coverage as well. Oh, absolutely. But I'd be concerned about the grounds molding. Yes. Opened enough full coffee machines while working at Goodwill to trust coffee grounds. Yeah, I get that. I have mine for 18 months now and they're totally fine. I think the glue fixed them. So yeah, I was going to say, as long as, technically, as long as it is sealed completely, it should not mold. But again, I mean, it has to be completely sealed to where no air can get into it, which can cause issues on its own because then you've got, you know, a big blob of something it's difficult. It's difficult to seal stuff and not have to worry about mold when you're using real things. But paint, yeah. But yeah, if you've got them sealed with enough PVA, with enough spray paint, it should not mold. But again, if it's not entirely, like even just a little bit, yep, you're gonna get mold. That is essentially exactly what happened with that second box of twigs that I was trying to preserve. Mixed in with PVA and then coated them. Yep, okay, there you go, I'll do it. That's exactly what I was gonna recommend. The issue with the other box of twigs that I was preserving was there was a hair crack in the lid. So the lid, there was a hair crack in the lid. So oxygen was able to get inside there, and that's all you need. All you need is just a little crack, and the next thing you know, all your shit is gonna start molding. Just because you just need that little bit of oxygen. Come on, ran out of glue. Going through a lot of glue, baby. Too much glue. I was really afraid of getting a chemical burn from all of the cyanoacrylate yesterday. Yeah. It sounds less upsetting and frustrating if you put it in a song sometimes. It's not any less, but it sounds it. Alrighty. We're gonna do probably 4 or 5 of these because I need a lot of hair. This is a big building, and I know that that's not gonna be enough, but it'll give me an idea of how many we're gonna need in the end. Right about there. And one right there. Yeah. And that'll be just enough to give that a little cut. Stuck to my hands, so much hair. Leading to a full-blown mental breakdown from gluing hair all day. Every time Shankly calls me, it's pretty much just like, hey man, what you up to? And it's like, my hands are covered in hair and super glue. I'm very upset. He's just like, man, you're doing a lot of stuff with hair, huh? And I'm like, too much hair. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I'll hold on to that until I get another little part that falls out. Shankly, I am the Grink. Yes. First couple locks on that roof look totally ridiculous. Yes, this looks ridiculous. Also dry my crowns out in the oven too. Oh yes, okay, so I was gonna say that. Yeah, I also use flour as a coating and mix salt with it to stop molding. Came out like cement. JJ, that's awesome. I also dried my grounds out in the oven too. I think that helps 100%. That was gonna say I would not use wet grounds because that is like already dancing with the devil. Like you've got everything you need for it to mold, and at that point you're just hoping that everything sets in like it should, or you're gonna get mold. And that's part of where I fucked up with my wood. Like these are going strong. Like there is no mold on these. The other one, dear merciful God, I cannot begin to tell you how bad that other one smelled when I opened it. Like it was, I'm vomiting. Like the moment that the lid comes off, it's just like you're heaving because it smelled like a very bad bacterial infection. because that's essentially what I was doing, is making a box of a bacterial infection for a couple months. I just let it stew for a couple months, you know. It's real good. It's real good. Oh yeah, also, hey guys, I didn't show this, but we finished printing out, and by we I mean Greeblin. Greeblin finished printing out the blacksmith's house, which is pretty fun. It's a pretty fun little house. Do 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 do. It's the blacksmith's house. Pretty cool, Bobby. I like it. But Greeblin was working on that for a couple days, while Grebo is handling. Where the hell does this go? Oh, it goes like that. Grebo was working on the theater. I'm so pumped to put together a giant theater. I'm so pumped for Shankly's dudes to come hang out and see the wonderful production that my Emperor's Children are working on. If you're wondering if the curtain will be made to look, the giant curtain, I can't stress enough, it's like a, like, oh, we're going to go down to the palace, we're going to see a nice show, baby. Yeah, but what if like the big curtain, when they pull it across, what if it was made out of like human skin with just faces in it? That's where we're going. I'm gonna make a skin curtain. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited. Can't wait. But I gotta finish 1490. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing, baby. Yeah. I'm doing the thing. Shankly, I am the Grink. Knock, knock. Who's there? Me. I'm the Grink. Bom, 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 bom. I'm feeling good. I'm going to finish gluing hair to stuff today. Nothing's going to stop me. And then I'm not touching hair for a while when it comes to modeling. Outside of modeling, I'm going to touch all the hair. Oh my God. Just makes me want to scream sometimes. Too much hair everywhere. What's a dinosaur to do? Gluing all the hair. Very nice. Yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited about the theater. I'm also really excited that I've got a whole bunch of work already done on the Zone Mortalis boards. So they're going to go pretty darn quick. But there is stuff I want to change, so not the most quick. We gotta really make sure they look up to par. No compromises. No compromises, my sweets. Pretty sure a big old glob of super glue just fell on the floor over here. And by pretty sure, I mean I'm certain I can see it and I heard it. All right, here. Where you at? 1, probably grab 2 more. And then we're doing the thing. Just gonna start gluing it. God, it's so much hair. Right about there. Bum, 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 bum. I think we'll handle the ends like that. That seems an effective way to do so. 1 more, and then we'll start gluing hair on there. Oh my God. I'm tired of gluing hair and cutting it. I just want to work on little dudes. Okay, I've got it on live chat. Just making sure. Oof. Every now and then the screen will flash sometimes, and I'm like, fuck, did someone respond up at the top? And I've got it on top chat instead of live chat. And then I got to go back. But no. What species of ice pods? So, dairy cows. I've got a lot of dairy cows. Now, there are a few other in there. I've got some red powders, and then some common armadilliums that are like local. Often if I find an isopod in my basement, just kind of hanging out, I'm like, ah, hey, little friend, would you like to come live in my house that I built for you? So I'll pick them up and I'll put them in there. So, and that's often not the, a lot of people do not mix species, but again, they're in a 30-gallon tank, so they have a lot of room, and I try to make sure that they all get the food that they need in different little areas. So, but dairy cows are my favorite. I love dairy cows. They're very silly. They just look like really big roly-polies that can't roll up, that are spotted black and white, like little cows. They're fun. And initially they were in their own little 10-gallon. However, after Jason passed, I thought, well, I've already got a very large terrarium set up that is much nicer than theirs. Also, theirs was about to explode due to the pothos that was growing in there. It got to the point that it got so wild that it pretty much broke the glass on the bottom of it. So I had to be very careful when I was like applying water and misting. I have 30 gallons of ice pods. I can give 2 very different images. The nice terrarium versus a trash can full of rolling nightmares. Absolutely. No, it's, I put a picture in the Discord of their little setup, but I can show it here in just a second. Phone, where are you? Here you are. So yeah, this is currently what it looks like. Nope, that was a shit. Nice 30-gallon with lots of little trees and whatnot. Pothos. It's got a misting setup on it. The lights are on timers. There's not really a heater in there because they're all temperate species, but it's a 30-gallon terrarium. Again, that's what Jason was in. Jason did not need 30 gallons because she did not move. But I like to make sure that little critters that I try to give a good little life, I like to make sure they have everything they need. Super glue. That might be why my eye's been twitching. It's all the vapors. That or the blood rage. One of the two. Could go either way. Who's to say? I think who's to say. Get off of my hand. There we go. And then we'll pick up this guy. Yeah, and I'd say that statement is absolutely where my coworkers are just like, oh, that's some pretty serial killer stuff. I'm sure they were imagining like a 30-gallon trash bag or trash can just full of little big roly-polies. But they're great. I like watching them do their little things. They're always doing something. Often eating, walking around with their little feelers, kind of wiggling around, sleeping. But yeah, I really like the little community that they form. See them all walking around together. It's silly. I like them. I like isopods. Tee-hee. Love isopods. Silly little guys. Buffalo Bill comparisons are getting more by the day. Is he a serial killer, or maybe he's just really nice to insects and just likes victory? That's the thing. I can't stress enough. Yeah, I was making that statement yesterday with like my Instagram profile. Like it's just like I'm the Ed Gein of Muppets, and it's just like I feel like now that Ed Gein show is out and more people are aware of what that might mean, the more people are gonna be like, I don't know. Is it good? Is he crazy? It's just like, dude, I just make shit out of stuff. Sometimes it's dead. I don't use people though. But Muppets, yeah, I'd use a Muppet. I'd make the hell out of a Muppet into something fun. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, you throw out your Muppets, you throw out your puppets, and I found them. And I I love them. And I'll make them into something new. Terrible. But great. I had a jumping spider for a while. Those are cool. Those are so cool. I love jumping spiders. We have a couple that are free range, as in like they live in different spots of our house, and we're just like, okay, yep, we know we got to go over here and water the plants, and we want to make sure that we don't accidentally smoosh anybody because we've got a little spider friend over there. I really liked the idea of like setting up a little terrarium for them, but the lifespan on them is so short. They have such short lifespans. Are you implying you don't use skin in your model making? I would never imply that. It's mine though. I didn't get it from anybody else. Or teeth. Now teeth, that's not really. I haven't used any real teeth. Now I use animal bones and animal teeth, but I haven't used any real human teeth. I've got a lot of dental casts that I've used. But again, you're going to throw those away. You throw away your babies, you throw away your swords. And I found them, and I'm going to take care of all of them. Oh my God, I'm so tired of gluing hair. Fuck. Oh, Grebo, how long you got? 14 hours, 20 minutes, baby. Greeblin is done. I have not fired Greeblin back up because I was trying to get everything ready. But Grebo is just printing hundreds of little pieces to this theater. So that's exciting. Oh my gosh. All right, let's do the damn thing. Are you implying you don't use skin? Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but my friend put raccoon teeth on her punk jacket and it was very good. Oh, that's rad as fuck. Yeah, I love that. Many moons ago, I had a bracelet with my wisdom teeth on it. The ones that they had to surgically remove, so they still had the roots. You would not believe how many people did not love that. A lot of people really did not care for my fun witch doctor jewelry. Are those teeth? Just a very not excited about it. So I basically need to breed jumping spiders. Yeah, if you're wanting to have jumping spiders long term, and I don't know enough about them to really be able to help with that, but they definitely, especially when you look, and I had been looking at other spiders like tarantulas, and that was part of the whole reason that made me absolutely want one, is how long some species of tarantulas can live, like their natural lifespan. Some of the females can like seriously live 50 years, and that's rad as hell. I can imagine my wife's face when I tell her I want to become a spider breeder. Yeah, I'd say, based on that statement, I would say it's probably similar to my wife's face when she was like, "Oh yeah, let me get a look at tarantulas. I haven't seen one in a while. Maybe I'd be more okay with it." And then we went to a reptile expo, and that is where she saw a bunch of small spiders. She was like, I don't know. I don't really like that. That's not great. And then she saw a bird-eating spider, giant bird-eating spider, and she was like, okay, no, we're done. I'm done pretending like I'd be okay with that in our house. She has grown more open to the idea, though, of getting a tarantula. But at this point, I've got too much stuff on my plate, so I'm trying not to get. That's why I pretty much put the isopods in Jason's tank. I didn't want to get another frog. I did not want another thing to take care of right now because I just have got too much mentally going on that I don't have the means to really care for them to the standard that I would want to. But yeah, I would imagine not too excited. Just like, I know you don't like spiders, but what if I bred them and they were like our babies? Eh? Would that help at all? No. Okay, that wouldn't help. It would make it worse. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Thought I had her. Oh my goodness. So much hair. You get the zip kicker. I ain't got no time for this. We ain't got time for that. Get on the house. On the house. Pro tip. Show her the bird eating ones first, then show her the average size. But look at this little guy, size of hand. Yeah, she loves jumping spiders. Jumping spiders are absolutely an easier sale than a tarantula because of their cute little faces. And they are very, a tarantula is very much not a personal pet from everything I have read. Unlike a jumping spider, which is very much just like, they look like they wave at you a lot. It's just like, that sounds fun for the whole family. And they're small. They just, but yeah, she very much likes the little one that lives in our kitchen named Loretta. She's like, Loretta, what are you doing? Loretta's silly. Real Charlotte's Web kind of situation. Also, all the little critters that I have in the house, you would think that Margot would be like, oh man, I'm going to watch that thing. Nope. They spent like one day like really looking at like the very first fish tank, and then they were like, oh, okay, I get it, fish. I'm done. I haven't done any, Jesus, all this hair is stuck to my fingers. I haven't done any hopping all in like a week. Oh man, you got to get your hobby on. Say jumping spiders have face recognition like crows. I'm not sure about that, but they do seem extremely intelligent. Yeah, I mean, that does. I didn't know. I don't think I knew that I've heard that they had facial recognition. But it would not surprise me if they're very intelligent, just because I've seen lots of videos where people like kind of get them used to hanging out and like interacting with them, um, which is cool. That's fun. That's a fun little thing for a spider to do. A little spider friend. Hello, little spider friend. And just like, boop, and touch your hand. You're like, oh, he booped me. Ah, he booped me. Help. Hot damn. This is taking a while. But it's getting there. And it could take longer. You know, I can't complain too much. We're making progress. Progress is important. We're probably going to need, let's see, that was one row. Second row will start about there. So two more rows per side of like 6. So maybe I just need to make a whole bunch of these little hair clips and then just glue it on. I think that's it. Just power through it. Do it the way I did the roof shingles. Just sit down one day and process thousands of popsicle sticks. But now I know. Now I know how long this takes. And that is half the battle. I barely ever find time to actually hobby. I can only sneak in little hobby tidbits. Today's task is rehydrating some dried out clay. Hell yeah. That sounds fun. What you gonna do with the clay? Tell me all about the clay. Oh my gosh, there's too much hair on everything. How will you do that now? Are you gonna soak it? Yeah, I'm curious. You've got me interested. I have some Super Sculpey that went bad and I tossed it. Yeah, now that I don't know. I think it depends on what kind of clay. Like, what kind of clay could you rehydrate? I can't imagine. Like, I know, like epoxy sculpt. Epoxy sculpt, like hardens, it's not coming back. At least that I can figure out a way. But then it becomes something that you can just straight carve with. So that's if I have little balls of green stuff and whatnot that I don't get to use. I typically keep them. They kind of go in a little pile. Model Magic Fluffy Clay. I figured out you have to soak it and knead it a lot and break it up. Oh, okay. Yeah, so kind of just like almost breaking up the hardened clay and using the hardened pieces to kind of like re-knit itself almost. That's smart. Cool tip. I've not messed with any Model Magic in a hot minute. Is that the like the Crayola? The Crayola Model Magic I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of. Right? Kind of fluffy-ish. I had the Sculpey in a Ziploc and it's still hardened. Yep. Yeah, unless it's like airtight. Not sure how to store it now, so I don't want to buy anymore. Mason jars. But not a really deep one. Preferably one you can fit your hand in. That is how I would store clay. Yeah, Gorilla might get through it outside. Grabbed it. Hell yeah. I've got a bottle or a thing of DAS modeling clay that I've had for decades. It's still completely sealed, but trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with it. And I just can't bring myself to toss it. Oh my God, I'm tired of gluing hair to this. But we're getting there. It's getting there. I can see progress. It's just, man, oh man, this is tedious. Tedious work. The hair gluing and what have you. I'd rather be sculpting. You know I'm only truly happy when I'm sculpting. Little Beetlejuice reference for you there. Mason jars are smart. That's, yeah, that is a Mr. Pink Modern Synthesis, whichever you prefer, whichever he prefers. He goes by both. Nick, my buddy Nick, is the one that was just like, Mason jars, man, they will change your life. And I was just like, really? And he was right. But then I ordered some. He was like, yep, not those. You need bigger mouth. You're never gonna be able to fit your hands in there. And I was like, I got smaller hands than you. Oh shit, you're right. Shit, you're right. I use DAS to make bases for my Mordheim Warband. I think I remember you telling me that. Now DAS, it doesn't. It's air hardening, right? Yeah. No, that's cool. I need to mess with it. I've got, like, again, a whole package of it that I probably should use before it. I don't know if it's been sealed just forever and it's never been opened. Does it go bad? It's still very soft on the outside, like when you touch it. I like to ask like bases. All right. Well, lots of people are liking that. The Karstic Domain boys are going to be doing a Mordheim event in the new year. So I will be making a Mordheim Warband on here for the first time. I've never made one for myself. I've made Mordheim models for others, but I've never actually had a reason to sit down and actually make one for myself. And I love Mordheim. So it's, I like to ask like for bases. I use green stuff, world rollers on it, it's air hardening. and just the package, it will dry out eventually. It reminds me I need to find it. Now I know to stick it in a mason jar. Yeah, I can't stress mason jars are the way to save stuff. Except super glue bottles, apparently, if you're Eli. Because super glue just hates me. Oh, it's the boy who hates me. Had to come down and see this boy who hates me. A little Kenny Winker for you. Yeah, mason jars, man. Good call, Nick. Gotta call Nick. Okay, that's the other way. That's also the other way. What are you doing here? Come on, here. What are you doing? We'll make that work. That needs to be a corner piece. Because of how it's curving, it needs to go so it can be used to cover both sides. That way, get a little turn on there. Just like that. Spread it out. Yep. And then glue it. And we will cut that to make it look right. But for right now, that's where it goes. Because it's longer. We'll use that long one over there. Also, I try to remember to add a drop or two of water whenever I use it to replace what evaporates over time. Yes, so that, like, definitely. Remembering to keep things hydrated to some extent is definitely important with, like, hobby products. Paints, I'm looking at you. But there's definitely probably other mediums that are better for paint. Not to get everyone up and pouring water into their paint jars. But I definitely know that I have certain ones that I also know that absolutely you got to keep some kind of agitator in there for a lot of enamels and whatnot. The weathering stuff, it's just going to harden, and then you got to make sure you have a way to break it up. Try to remember, usually forget. I get you. I get it. I get it. Honestly, I'm very tired of fucking putting hair on here, but we have made good progress today already. I can say that. This will be done today, and it has to be done today, so we gotta start painting on this by today. So the amount of hair that just gets on the super glue bottle every time I pick it up is very upsetting. Every time I pick it up, I'm just like, oh, I hate the way that looks. I hate this. This is awful. There's too much hair. It's just so gross. This is gross. I'm gross. That's what's going on in my brain right now. Came to say hi. Hi, Mowgli. Getting ready to take your family to some caves. Hell yeah. We were wondering where you were. We missed you. We're just like, where's Mowgli? Where's Mowgli? Marco's just like, I'm not even coming down today. I'm too angry. Where's my friend Mowgli? That's not absolutely not even remotely trying to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It's more of just, yay, glad you popped in. Hi, Mowgli. We're doing hair stuff. Enjoy the caves. We're doing hair stuff today. No context. Have fun in the caves. It's hair time. Don't forget to take some hair with you. Okay, so that was like six strands. And I got about half of one side done. So I probably need another 6 to finish it. And then 12 to finish the other side. And then we have to do the top. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Like the stream. Thanks, Mowgli. Have a safe trip. Fun times. Oh my gosh. Also, I'm not even in focus right now. Oh my gosh. There's just too much hair, but it's gonna look really good, I promise. You're gonna be like, damn, look at that thatched roof. Where'd you get straw so small? And I'll be like, I have a little guy. He's a little farmer. He grows me a lot of wheat and straw. Fact. That is not so much finishing this up. It's more of a, I'm getting a little bit of this extra hair out of here. That way it's not touching me while I'm doing the thing. It does not feel great. It does not feel good when it gets stuck to my skins. It puts the hair on the buildings, or else it gets more hair on its skin. In this situation, it's just me. Oh, I got a wig guy. Other creepy ways to say that. Oh, I got a wig guy. Don't worry about it. Hot damn. That's so much hair. This is so much hair. I have to pee again. I'm already feeling tired. Oh, that's just how it goes sometimes. My kid wants to watch Silence of the Lambs. Oh, Lord. You plan on bringing them back, don't you? That's a good question, too. I'm sure Mowgli does. Mowgli would never leave his family in a cave. I don't think. Bum, bum, bum. My kid wants to watch Silence of the Lambs. How old are they? That seems like it could be psychologically damaging, depending on how old they are. But you do you. I don't know nothing about no parenting, I suppose. Except fluffy babies. I know a lot about how to parent them. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be Dad, I really want to get desensitized. Just let it happen. Thanks again for the stream this morning. Oh, thank you, JJ. It was 9:58. I guess I can go ahead and start wrapping up before I start gluing stuff, because I do have to pee so bad. Quick, roll call today, but Possum, JJ, USA Libertarian. I think that's everybody, and then Mowgli popped in. Yeah. No, thank you guys so much for hanging out and keeping me going in the stream, or in the chat. It definitely makes a difference when I have someone to talk to. It helps kind of get through parts, especially this kind of stuff where I don't really enjoy just gluing hair to buildings all damn day. I need someone to talk to while I do it and kind of yap. But yeah, thank you all so much for your time. I say it every time, and I'm going to say it every time. It is the most valuable resource, asset, commodity, whatever way you want to think about it. Your time is the most precious thing that you have. I have a muff guy. Is it me? I've got a lot of muffs of the pedal variety. I don't have any of the non-pedal variety. Yeah, it truly does mean the world that you guys must spend your time with me. It is the most important, precious thing that you have is your time. So just always try to spend it wisely. Be good to yourselves and each other. I'm gonna go have a nice Chianti and some Fab's beans for lunch. Bye. Bye, friend. Yeah, if you want to support my work, and we are getting very close to where I can start actually showcasing the stuff that I'm making and why I'm doing it all. You can do so at the link for the fourth wall. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Sit pretty, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, friends.